back to the Dialed In podcast. I'm Mo, and as always, I'm accompanied by my horological PIC, Gene. What's up, brother?
PIC?
Partner in crime, homie.
Ah, okay. I was like, pick? Happy to be back. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute, and we missed a week cadence, and I apologize for that. That's my bad.
So, life was lifing.
Life was lifing. What's on the wrist today, Gene?
Controversially, I am wearing an Apple Watch Ultra 2.
Wah, wah, wah.
But it probably dovetails into a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. So maybe it makes sense.
I'm wearing I think we spoke about this maybe 2 episodes ago, but I'm wearing the yellow gold Datejust, the 116238 from 2005 with a black onyx dial and some diamond markers on there.
Bling bling,
dude! I love this. You know, it's interesting. I think this is actually a great segue into what we're talking about today. And so I'll let you hit that in a second. But I love this watch so much that I don't want to take it off. But it's very clearly not a daily because it's just like full yellow gold on a Jubilee bracelet. And I even tried
it. Kind of could be for you.
Yes and no. Like I wore it to the office the other day, and no one comments because they just know that I'm like crazy about watches. Right. But at the same time, it's like it felt a little weird.
You felt like you got some glances.
Yeah, it's a little blingy, a little too flash for the office setting. I think walking around on a Saturday, it's fine as long as you're not worried about getting your wrist chopped off. Okay, so today we're talking about 2 different topics. We have one, which is Gene's going to lead the conversation on kind of the new rules of watch collecting. Full disclosure, we have not spoken about this, so I have no idea what he's going to bring up, and I'm very excited. The second half of the episode, we're going to talk about iconic watches, and I have a list of 23. We'll probably go through about 7 to 10, and we'll decide whether they're fairly rated, underrated, or super, super overrated, and why.
Okay.
I have... Before we jump into the episode, per usual, I take us on tangents. I got a couple of things I want to just talk about. One being, so I went to go see my Patek AD the other day. I don't know if everyone knows this. It was all over sort of watch media, but Patek Philippe prices have increased by 15% in the US.
That's a gut punch.
It's such a gut punch because they were already like crazy expensive. Yeah. And 15% is no joke,
No, that's real. That's a real price hike.
100%. So now the Cubitus, like the 40 millimeter Cubitus, which was already pretty high up there at like $80,000 for the white gold and the rose gold, you're at above 90K now, like 93 or something, 96 or something. It's that's wild.
And plus tax, you're out the door over 100.
Yeah, well, speaking of over 100, the World Time now, which is a great watch, like the one on like the blue jean type strap. It's beautiful. I actually posted it in that reel I put on our gram the other day. But that is over 100K now. And you have the new Calatrava, which is probably pushing 60. It's crazy. So I don't even know what I really do with that now. And we were talking about my list, which is, when you're talking to a Patek AD, it's kind of a phantom list and just... you hope and pray that in some year you get a call and then you got to act immediately.
5712.
Yeah. I don't know. It's absurdly expensive, and it always has been, but it's just making me think of like, oh, now I'm really thinking about value of these watches. And I don't know. You have any thoughts on that?
Tariffs are obviously affecting everyone, particularly Switzerland and Swiss watchmaking. My question is actually, if those tariffs go away, do the prices come back down? Or if we set like a new floor now?
Mind melding. I was just going to ask, do you think you do that? I think in like 2016, Patek actually lowered retail prices, which there was a whole commotion about because I don't know if they made the retailers hold that were already holding inventory or like, and then obviously the gray market was holding on to a ton of inventory. So that has really weird effects. Also, like, collectors who had already purchased those watches, they've lost value on the primary market, which is a weird feeling for Patek owners. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. I don't expect I buy a Patek at retail anytime soon. Well, maybe that's
I don't know.
Maybe that's not true, but
I think I don't know what was on your list. I'm going to assume a couple of watches. One, the the sort of salmon dial Calatrava.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I know you've been lusting after the 5712 for many years now.
I can't even get on the list, at least at this. So my AD is in the Tiffany store. It's the Patek Salon there, which is extra hard.
Right.
And so they won't even open the list for any Nautilus. I actually, interestingly, they told me that the 5811.
Yeah, white golds.
Yep. I asked, I was like, just like, how many people are on that list? She's like, well, I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you is we're actually treating it as a soft application piece now. I'm like, what is a soft application piece?
Soft application.
So for those who don't know, like application pieces at Patek are typically like grand complications, and there's an extra step you have to take. One, you have to own like a certain amount of watches, and then you have to apply, like literally fill out an application, and Patek reviews it. But for this, like the 5811 is not an application piece by Patek standards. However, by soft application, they just mean that the criteria to be even considered for the list is that you have to own 5 Patek Philippe watches bought at that boutique.
At that boutique?
Yes.
So at Tiffany.
Well, I didn't clarify. So maybe just 5 that are registered with Patek. Like the certs have your name on it.
Okay.
But still, that is...
So not even watches that you've purchased elsewhere, vintage even.
Correct.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah. Which actually, so speaking about Patek, and this is the last thing I want to say before we dive into the episode, I went to Material Good in New York, and major plug for Material Good. If you guys who live in New York haven't been, or if you visit, definitely go make a stop. It's a very cool store in Soho that sells watches, jewelry, vintage Hermes bags. It's just kind of like a luxury haven, if you will. And they are ADs for Moser, Biver watches, and I can't remember what else. Anyway, they have an insane secondary watch collection, like insane. So I got to try on my grail piece for the first time, which is the 5740G, the Nautilus Perpetual Calendar in white gold. I went in, when I saw that watch, I could not remove myself from the case. It just kind of drew me in.
Right. And
I wanted to hate it so badly when I put it on. Like I wanted to put it on and be like, oh, this was what all the hype was about. This is not worth, $260,000 in the secondary market. Man, I put it on and I cannot stop thinking about it. It made me want it more.
If that was even possible.
And since then, I've been going through all these permutations as I fall asleep at night of, would I sell this amount of watches to go buy that in the secondary market? Now, listen, I have never put any money up like that for a watch ever, and I told myself I never would. But this is the exit watch, man.
I mean, look, we've had this discussion multiple times. We know that doesn't exist.
I know. Which is why I keep
it's a fallacy.
Which is why when I say permutations, I was like, okay, if I keep my Rose Daytona, if I keep this one, if I get rid of all the other watches and just keep a 3-watch collection, how much money would I have to put on top to get this? And I'm getting there in my head, but I don't think I'll do it.
What would have to happen in your life for you to be able to pull a trigger on something like that?
I don't know. I've been going through a divorce for the last 21 months. If that thing closes, maybe that's the trigger. Yeah.
Speaking of milestone moments.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then one more thing about my Material Good experience, beyond being able to see a Paul Newman Daytona in the flesh, or in the metal, I should say, that was awesome. They have a great collection of vintage Daytonas. In fact, one 6265, I want to say, that's Tiffany stamped, or it could have been a 6239. I can't remember if it had screw down pushers or just pump pushers. Anyway, what I want to say is Moser. We haven't talked a lot about Moser on this pod, other than that I bought a Pioneer Center Seconds once. That was
the dinner plate?
The dinner plate on the wrist, yeah. But I did get to try on, and this is on the gram too, in that same reel. An insane, limited to 20-piece watch. It's the Endeavor small seconds concept pop, and basically that's made up of just a dial with a sub seconds on it. The dial is lapis lazuli, like a really bright lapis.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the sub seconds is another stone that I've never heard of, and I'm going to mispronounce the pronunciation, but it's a lemon chrysoprase.
Oh, but it was like fluorescent yellow.
Dude. It's unbelievable in person. We got to go check it
Okay.
out if it's still there. I keep thinking, so that it was about, I think, $36,000 retail.
Okay.
And so that's primary market because they're an AD for Moser.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd wear it enough to ever justify
Yeah.
that, but I can't stop thinking about it. It's a very cool like statement piece watch. And it was on this gray ostrich strap, which just, I don't know, made it pop even more.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a fan of the Endeavor. I actually think it's a really good looking watch, and just as a canvas for stone dials and various other things, it's really cool. I actually looked at it at one point because they had, I don't know if you remember, a Vanta Black version of it, which I thought was so cool. So yeah, I'm a fan of the Endeavor.
All right, love Moser. We got to talk about Moser more. I'm certainly going to get deeper into the brand, so get ready, folks, to hear more about Moser over the next few episodes. All right, Gene, I'm going to pass it to you, buddy, to take it away with some new watch collecting rules.
So I guess new rules and the concept of new rules basically ties back to, old rules and what were they? I think they're all fairly well established. We all know, the old rules are, dress watch with a suit, a steel sports watch for something a bit more casual. Maybe you wear a G-Shock or something like that for the gym. A tool watch for, kind of adventure type situations, and something like a GMT for travel. But the fact of the matter is we're in new times. Things have changed. The context around some of this stuff is different in very like dramatic ways. Like one of the things we were talking about earlier today is kind of work and professional life. And you mentioned not being totally comfortable wearing the watch that you're wearing today in the office, but also thinking about Zoom, the fact that we're on, kind of these remote calls, video calls so often. What do you wear and why do you wear a watch in that context? So these are the kind of new rules that we're talking about, and the ways that the contexts have changed. Has the way that we think about wearing watches changed in ways that we might want to chat about today.
I love it.
Yeah. So let's talk about work.
Okay.
I know you're in a similar situation to me, which is to say that a lot of our work calls are now virtual.
Totally.
We're on Zoom, Google Meets. Watches are just far less visible now. I'm just curious, do you wear a watch every day? If you're working from home, are you just going to put one on regardless of the fact that you may not step foot outside of your apartment?
You know the answer to this. I told you after I shower and like put on pajamas, I put on a watch for like 2 hours before I go to bed. Okay. So yes, the answer to that is yes. And it's funny you say that like it's not visible. It's just true. But I was on a maybe 35 or 40 person call the other day, and I must have like scratched my nose or something. I get a ping on the side from someone being like, "Are you wearing a Royal Oak?" I mean, yes, that bracelet is so noticeable, so they didn't have to see the dial or anything. But I found that funny, and because I always thought about it the same way, that it didn't really matter what I was wearing when I was on a Zoom. We were wearing it for you at that point, right?
Right.
But it's funny that someone noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Do you wear a watch on Zooms if you're working from home?
Sometimes I do. I'm kind of 50-50. I don't necessarily think about wearing a watch, in the same way as like putting on socks or, something like
Right.
that you do. Like it's just part of like your outfit and the thing that you do every day. But one of the things that I'm actually curious about, because I'm wearing an Apple Watch today, is we both work in various sectors of tech.
Mm-hmm.
And to what extent is, truthfully, a smartwatch like an Apple Watch, in that sense, are they potentially more professional, given where and who we work with, than, say, a Royal Oak that you were wearing on a call the other day?
I have a real hatred for smartwatches. So I could never get down with the idea that they're more professional.
Mm-hmm.
I do see way more smartwatches than mechanical watches, not only in tech, even when I go meet like with a banker or something, they're wearing a suit and an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I know I get that it's super convenient. A lot of people say that having an Apple Watch in a meeting is the respectful thing to do because they can quickly glance down without having to pull out their phone and see if anything's urgent.
Right.
I've mentioned this many times in the pod. It's my least favorite thing when I'm talking to someone and they are like scrolling through their watch or like half listening to me. But that's me. I know you probably have a different take on it. What do you think?
I don't think I'd say that it's more professional, but I do think that context matters in that case. And in the tech world, I think it's incredibly common to see people wearing, Apple Watches, Samsung, Google, and so on. And I think it's totally acceptable. At my company, what I will say is that the percentage of smartwatches is insanely high. Like, but my company,
Yes.
and the people that I work with, and sort of the segment of the business that I'm in, and they're just. I would never consider them to be at the bleeding edge of style, fashion, like that kind of thing.
Damn,
I'm
tell us
being
how you
really
really feel.
careful here. Sorry if anyone's listening. Let's move to a different part of the day, which is the gym. Because I know you wear watches to the gym. I know you wear mechanical watches to the gym.
I do.
For me, that seems like the most obvious place to go smartwatch.
Totally, for fitness tracking.
Exactly. And yet you've sort of applied that disdain that you have for smartwatches in the real world to the gym as well. What does wearing a mechanical watch do for you in the gym?
It literally just makes me happy. So, I like owning a variety of watches, and there's some watches that I just don't consider wearing so much outside of a active lifestyle. And so, you know how I dress on a day-to-day basis. It's I don't know. I don't want to define my style, but some watches that I want to own because I think they're cool and I like them. The only place I really see myself wearing it is if, like, okay, on some mythical hike that I never take in New York, or at the gym,
Right.
And so I had been wearing the carbon fiber Tissot PRX,
Yeah.
which I love, and I recently changed it up because I have this Baltic Aquascaf
Yeah.
that I put on a deluxe rubber strap with like a cool deployant clasp. Then again, I never wear. I never pick up out of my box. So I decided to wear it to the gym the other day, and it's become my de facto gym watch for the last couple of weeks. And it's great. Like I forgot that when I bought it, I love it, but I just never wear it. And so now I get to wear it to the gym, and it's great.
All right.
So it's not that deep, It's just it's just that I want to be able to wear more of my watches.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I mean, for me, I will wear a smartwatch when when I work out. I do that in air quotes because I don't get to the gym as often as I should. I will say that today, I rode the Peloton this morning and I wore my Apple Watch, which is why I'm wearing it now, because sort of coming off that, I made my way here. But I do think in that context, smartwatches make the most sense given the fitness tracking, heart rate, all that good stuff. Calories, steps.
I agree. I'm missing out on some crucial data from my workouts for sure, because I don't even wear like a Whoop or anything on my other wrist. But listen, man, I love mechanical watches. I like owning a bunch of them. And actually, what I'll say is, I mentioned the Baltic Aquascaf. I don't know if you saw, but they came out this week with a Aquascaf Mark II. I bought it.
Yeah. You bought it?
I bought it. I don't have it in hand. I bought it online.
Oh, you bought it online. You didn't go to the boutique. Okay.
It'll come mid-October, they said. Yeah. And I bought the green one. It comes on a green rubber strap too. It looks sick. I'm excited for it. I will probably swap that out for the gym watch as soon as I get it.
Okay.
And what I like about it is I went on some tangent on one of our recent episodes about Breitling. And you know how I went in and showed you that green Breitling Super Ocean that I really liked.
I really thought you were going to get that.
Me too. But something about like that I can't just justify as a gym watch, because it's over $6K, $7K, whatever it is. And so it's not about the price necessarily, but buying it knowing that I'm really only going to wear it in the gym and spending that money, that just didn't sit right. So I've gone there so many times and walked by, be like, should I today just go get it? And this, I think, will scratch the itch. This green Aquascaf at sub $1,000.
Okay. I feel like we're not following our own advice. Didn't we have an episode where we talked about not getting sort of the less expensive option to try to scratch the itch of a more expensive model?
You're totally right, but I don't think the Breitling fell in the category where I'm like lusting after it. It was more just like, this is cool. Like I kind of want it. It wasn't, it wasn't something that I've been dying for.
I see. Okay, cool. All right. So that takes us from the gym. What about travel? Both of us travel pretty extensively. Do we need a GMT?
Why don't you answer that first?
Well, it's nice to have. I'll say that I wear the GMT when I travel pretty frequently, and it's mostly because it's just a signifier of travel. The optics of it are such that you immediately see it. It just screams travel, and it's just what I immediately grab. Do I need it? No.
But do you use the GMT function?
Um, I would like to say that I do, but sometimes setting it is a chore, especially when I haven't worn it for a little bit of time. It's a little more involved than just time only.
I disagree.
What?
You own a Rolex GMT,
Yes.
which is actually like the easiest GMT to set.
I know.
You literally have to set the normal time and then you just jump the hour.
I know, but
You just don't want to, okay. I don't know. As a guy who goes back and forth from LA to New York, I know the 3-hour calculation in your head is very simple.
Yeah, it's easy.
But I always assumed that you were using that GMT as intended.
No. When I did go to Asia earlier this year, I used the GMT as intended, and it was actually quite helpful because the time changes is more significant and pronounced. But yeah, 3 hours I can do the math, and I'll just land and change my watch. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What about
Fine.
you?
Wait, no, but then if you're changing your watch when you land, you're just jumping the hour. So you are using the GMT, right? Or you're changing the full.
I just changed the actual time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Sorry to disappoint you. I feel like I've disappointed you.
Very disappointed. So I don't think about GMTs when I travel. You know what? To be fully honest, I don't actually have a GMT in my collection anymore.
What?
I know. It is a missing piece because I go in and out of watches so much, and I must have not thought about it because the last GMT I had was the full gold GRNR, and that's just, I don't know, it was a lot of gold on the wrist and very thick and whatever, and so it was also nice to free up 40 grand from the collection and put that into something else. So I don't have a GMT. I don't actually have travel time watch, and I don't think about it either. I have a Reverso where it's a duo face and the other face is a travel time. But that's like a manual wind. That's not a travel watch, Right. I'm not wearing that on the planes. It's also in pink gold. So when I travel, I think about what I need to do at the place I'm going to, and that's kind of how I pick my watch for the plane. So it's one of the watches I will need when I'm there. I travel with an excessive amount of watches. I think maybe even in our first or second episode, I was referred to as a maximalist, which I will own. And so, travel watches, I try and have the most variety I can for what could happen on that trip. Like I'll know if I'm going to like some nice dinners and I'm meeting the same people. I'm someone who doesn't like people to see me in the same watch if I can avoid it, like within a 3-day period. That's a weird flex. Like, that's a me thing.
All right.
To me, it's like, oh, I'm going to wear the same outfit like the second night I see them.
Sure. So in your mind, wearing the same watch multiple times in front of the same group of people is basically the same as, to your point, having worn the same shirt or the same pair of pants. Or
rationally, I know that's not true, but because I own the amount of watches I do, that's why I feel that.
Well, they all need wrist time.
They need wrist time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's an interesting segue into maybe the last, kind of bit here, which is, those occasions where you go out, you're a bit more dressed up. I think the traditional thought, again, would be to wear a dress watch. Doesn't need to be the case anymore. Do you have any particular rules around that or any thought process that goes into, more formal situations?
Yeah, I always have trouble putting on my Oyster Flex Daytona with a blazer. I don't think it looks bad at all.
Oh, okay.
But it's something about a rubber strap when you're kind of dressing up a bit more formal. Something just doesn't feel right. Now I've done it. I do it. It's not something that I'll get too in my head about, but it's definitely, there's always like a pause. And I try and wear a bracelet watch or a strap watch, like a leather strap. I mean, that's the ideal. Like if I'm wearing a tux, I'm certainly not going to wear like a big old GMT on the wrist. Not that I have one in my collection, as I just mentioned, but I'm not going to wear even, just like a big chunky metal watch. I think, the more formal you are, the more elegant your watch should be. And so like I'd go with, it's not about bracelet or strap for me at that point. Like I would wear the 4947 and 1A, the Patek annual calendar I have, because it's small, it's elegant, it's all polished steel. I would certainly wear my Reverso on the pink gold sunburst blue dial on a blue leather strap, a navy blue leather strap. I would wear that with a blue suit, no problem. But I start to have trouble doing that. Certainly with Oyster Flex Daytona, I would never wear that with a tux. That's a weird look.
With a tux, no, yeah, of course.
Right, but then people wear it with suits.
Yeah, I was actually in the lounge the other day at the Delta Lounge, and I saw a man that was wearing a navy blue suit, and he on the wrist he had a Yachtmaster 42 white gold on the Oyster Flex. It actually looked really good.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Like, this is why we're talking about the new rules. Yeah. Like, who's following rules, right? Like, technically, like, you shouldn't even wear yellow gold with a tux, I think is an old adage about watches. Like, you should wear a very minimal dial, and it should be white metal, and like bullshit rules. Yeah. Like, these are stupid, and that's why following them, prevents you from actually experiencing something fun and different and cool, and like setting your own style. So none of these should be us. When I say how I feel about something, I would never push that onto someone else. What do you feel is appropriate for dressing up? But do you think about it when you look at your watches and decide what you're going to wear when you're going out?
That, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to that many formal events. I actually have one coming up in a couple of weeks that I wouldn't describe as being totally formal, but a bit more on the formal side. Certainly not casual.
I hope you're wearing that day date.
I don't know. I was thinking day date, or I was thinking possibly wearing the Cartier, the piano dial.
Yes, yes.
But truth be told, I would be just as comfortable, with my Speedmaster. I would do it. Daniel Craig can pull it off.
I'll save my thoughts on this for the next segment for iconic watches. But you know what I really dislike?
What's that?
And apologies to, I'm sure, many of the listeners that do this, but just Submariner in formal settings.
Really?
I really dislike it. I don't know. I mean, again, this is tapping into our next segment about iconic watches, and I'll leave my main thoughts for them there. But nothing about the sub screams formal to me at all. And it's again like the modern subs are just like a kind of hunk of steel on the wrist, and I think that looks clunky against formal attire or even semi-formal attire. And then I know, listen, everyone does it. Like if you walk around New York and spot people in suits or blazers, like there's a high probability they're wearing a sub.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. With tux, I think you've kind of crossed, the line in terms of like a sub probably not being the most appropriate thing, depending on what else you've got in your collection. But a suit, like a more like a lightweight suit or something like that.
I'm just bored.
Agree to disagree.
It's just boring.
Right.
Should we segue?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I just Googled before this episode iconic watches. The first article that came up, and I'll link this in the show notes, is a Teddy Baldessar article from 2023. And it's entitled The 28 Most Iconic Watches of All Time.
It's such a weird number.
Very. But
like, why not make it 20 or 30?
Teddy's a weird guy.
It's like you couldn't think of two more that could have made the list, but okay. Right.
So I want to rapid fire through some of these.
Okay.
And basically I want to know if you think, because they're already in the iconic status, like we don't have to debate whether they're iconic or not.
Okay.
It's more so if you think they deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Or even as icons, are they underrated or overrated?
Okay.
So I'm going to start with an interesting one because this is where the list starts. And this definitely would not have been the first one to come to mind.
Mm-hmm. So this is number 28?
This is, he doesn't number them.
Okay.
It's just top of the list.
Gotcha.
The Longa 1.
I like the watch. I've looked at it several times, almost purchased one. So I think it should be on the list. I'm a fan. I like where it's at. It should be on the list.
But you think it's fairly rated in the market? Like you think enough people like think about it like you
mean,
do, or
I think Longa struggles a little bit just in the context of, when we think about like press coverage and marketing and all of that stuff. I think everyone universally acknowledges the watchmaking there and the skill that's there and the finishing quality. But, for whatever reason, it just hasn't, managed to sort of reach those heights on the secondary or gray market. So I think it's probably underrated.
Bingo. Yeah. That's my take too. I think it like embodies everything about German fine watchmaking, and like, yes, people focus on the up down and the Zeitwerk, which are amazing Longa pieces, but like this is the staple, this is the icon of their collection. And to your point, just even looking at secondary market pricing, I think this is very underrated, particularly when you broaden out even from just watch enthusiasts. Like no one's going to know what this is outside of like our nerdy, collection of people. All right. Next one on the list, the Royal Oak.
I want to say that it's either sort of where it should be or potentially slightly overrated. And I only say that because it's just reached this level of like cultural awareness where it's just, there are people that want that watch without understanding what it means historically and, kind of the whole, background about like how it came into existence and all that stuff. Just because it's become a thing that people want and desire, completely outside of that, I'm going to say slightly overrated.
Okay. I tend to agree with everything you're saying, but I think it is fairly rated. Okay. Even with all the hype. Because, and of course I'm biased, like this was like my first like luxury watch, like luxury watch that I wanted it forever. And I love the history behind it. I've read so many books about it and whatever. And just, this kicked off the craze and sort of new category of these like luxury steel integrated sports watches. Like this is the OG, no question. No one's debating that ever. Yeah. And it changed the watch market and watch buying market / sort of the way modern watches are even built forever. That allows it to be as hyped as it is.
Yeah.
And I would argue the best bracelet ever created on a steel watch. I would argue that it's the perfect combination of luxury and elegant and industrial at the same time.
Yeah.
It's the Gada watch of all Gada watches. That's a go anywhere, do anything. Now I know people can be like, what do you mean you can't like just walk on the street with it in like London? I get it. Yes, sure. Because of the hype, people know what it is, and it's it makes you a target potentially. Beyond that aspect of it, you can wear this. You could wear it to the gym if you so choose to. I would not suggest it because that's probably going to put some harm on the movement. But you could wear this with, if someone wore this with a tux, like against everything I just said, like, okay, I'm with it. Like probably not the first choice for me, but I'm with it.
Okay.
And you could wear it with jeans and a t-shirt, certainly.
Yeah.
So
I'm agreeing with everything that you've said.
So I say fairly rated, which is probably somewhat controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Blancpain 50 Fathoms.
I mean, I'm looking at one right now. So fairly rated, possibly slightly underrated, but I do think it's made a bit of a resurgence lately, particularly with the Swatch collab, the new models that have been released. So just again, ton of history. I like the watch. I'm going to say slightly underrated.
I'm going to agree with you and not add anything because I think you said it perfectly. I'm going to take this next one.
Okay.
The Breitling Navitimer. I really dislike that watch. Like again, like going back to like what I said about the Royal Oak, I understand there's history there, and it's like you can do all these like crazy calculations with that insanely.
It's so busy.
It's so busy.
Yeah,
it's like really busy.
I don't even know where to look.
And there's a subset of people that I'm talking about, even outside watch enthusiasts, who like this is their I made it watch. And I just think in the price range that you're spending on that Breitling Navitimer, there are more I made it. There are better I made it watches, in my opinion. And it's completely subjective. So you got to do what you got to do. But I don't get it. I think this is an overrated watch, both in the watch community and beyond.
Yeah.
And that's my take. What do you think?
I completely agree with you.
Awesome.
It's so busy.
Okay, let's go to the Cartier Santos.
I love that watch. And again, you know the history and you understand the background of like how it came into being. But there's part of me that wants to say, just given how many people have it, the number of iterations that it has, that it's slightly overrated.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm actually take away the slightly, for me at least. Like again, history amazing.
Yeah.
Alberto Santos Dumont,
Yeah.
you know, and potentially even the first wristwatch ever, right? Are very debatable, and I don't want to get into that debate. But there's a ton of history there. If you asked me this 10 years ago, I would probably say it was underrated, given just the crazy surge in Cartier and how many people make videos about how this should be your first watch instead of a Submariner or whatever. I'm over this watch. I think it's overrated. It's a great watch, but that's all it is. Like it's not something we need to have 20 minutes on.
Can you wear it with tux?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's the beauty of that watch, actually, because I have one, is that it is sort of equally well placed in both, you know, kind of more sporty type situations, and I think you can wear it with a tux. It is one of the few watches that I think you can literally wear in any kind of environment.
That can be your only watch for sure. It's just,
but it is overrated. I'm not going to disagree with you.
It's a scratch magnet too. Okay, I'm just like flying through this list here, so I don't want to go through every single one. Weirdly, the IWC Big Pilots on this watch. We don't need to go into our thoughts on it, but you know, that's whatever. Okay, the Reverso.
Underrated.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally agreed.
Yeah.
I don't know about. Wait, so would you say it's underrated in the watch community?
I mean, you know, we talk about our group of nerds on this stuff, and maybe not there. I think we're all aware of what it is, and if you're talking about just the craftsmanship, the watchmaking, the uniqueness of it.
I agree. I think in the watch community it's probably fairly rated in my opinion, but outside, like our nerdy circle, damn, this watch doesn't get enough shine.
Not at all.
And it is historic. It is super cool. It is super elegant. It's a fidget spinner on the wrist.
I was about to say that. It's such a fidget spinner. Yeah.
This should be like, this should have so much mass appeal. I just blame JLC for just not doing enough marketing. In recent years, they've done a ton of marketing on the Reverso, had pop-ups in New York and Paris and whatever, and that's great. And I think that's going to help the brand a lot. But this watch should be hyped, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, Speedmaster.
Overrated.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I have one. I love the watch, but so many special editions. Just and you know, you can count it as a positive or negative depending on the way you flip that coin. But like just the way that Omega has pounded the Moonwatch story into everyone's like collective consciousness is it's a remarkable thing actually, but it is overrated.
1000%. Like it's a great chronograph and it's a boring watch, which is great. Like everyone needs like a boring black and white chronograph. It's great. It's like it's great movement, all the good things about it, all the history of the moonland. Sorry, this first watch on the moon. I don't understand everyone's obsession with everyone needs to have a Speedmaster in their collection. It's just kind of like this weird propaganda that Omega has benefited from Ben Clymer, which is great. And his story about his grandfather's Omega Speedmaster, that's touching and that's great, personal to him.
Yeah.
Why the entire watch world like sort of globbed onto that and said, okay, everyone needs a Speedmaster or your collection's not complete, makes zero sense to me. The Daytona is a much more beautiful watch, a much better watch in every single form and fashion to me.
No, you're not wrong.
So
I think to most people,
enough with the Speedmaster. Enough. Like I can't hear more about the Speedmaster.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna end it probably on. You know what? I'm gonna put away this list because there's a lot of random watches on here that deserve to be in here, but maybe not great discussion around them. Let's end on the Submariner.
Okay.
Because we kind of teased it out.
Yeah.
Overrated, underrated, fairly rated.
Overrated.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone that has one and love the one, you know, I love the particular one that I have, but it is overrated. In a lot of the same ways and in using this similar and rationale around basically the same reasons that you said for the Speedmaster.
Yeah.
I think we've all been taught in whatever way that the sub is the watch that you start with. When you get to that level of watch collecting, it is, everyone's supposed to have one in their collection, and it's really not true. Like no one needs that in their collection, but we've been taught that, we've been told that, and I did that. But yeah, overrated.
I don't think there's any debate that should be on this list. Like obviously it's like it's
Absolutely.
probably the icon of all icons,
Yeah.
to be honest. But no one that I can't say no one. That's not fair. It's like, let's.
You were about to say something really spicy, and I think you should say it.
Okay. With women, when you're sort of like you want like this I made it handbag, right? You're not jumping to Hermes. You're probably getting like you want a classic Chanel bag. Okay. And they are great. They're great bags. They're beautiful. They're classic, iconic, whatever. You ask them why it's great. I don't think they have an answer, a majority of people. And I would say the same thing about Submariner owners, which is like, why is that a great watch? Why was that your milestone watch? Other than, well, that's what people do. It's a Rolex,
Yeah.
And so I am done with Submariners. I love vintage Submariners and neo vintage Submariners. I'm here for it all day. I could not care less about modern Submariners.
Right.
Hot take.
Hot take.
All right, Gene. Feel like we did good work today?
I do.
All right. We're going to leave it there. Check out Dialed In Pod on socials. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, of course, at the Dialed In Pod. And come back next time for some more watch hot takes.